Henry, you mentioned multiple currencies, multiple exchanges. How does an asset manager decide on their listing strategies in Europe?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think the key piece for me is making sure that your listing strategy marries up to your distribution strategy. Look, one of the major advantages of a UCITS fund, and by extension the ETF, is that it is passportable all across Europe, and it's also in high demand internationally outside of Europe. So places like Hong Kong, Singapore and Taiwan have a lot of demand for UCITS ETFs, the Middle East as well, which is all fantastic. But in terms of distribution, trying to be all things to everybody and cover all of those markets is really difficult. So we would always recommend that people identify their core markets and identify, you're always going to speak to an investor, regardless of where they are, who has a large ticket. But at the same time, you want to be targeted and make sure that you're ahead of time picking out your core markets, attacking that from a marketing and distribution standpoint, and then making sure that your listing strategy marries up to that too, right? So the currencies that they're looking to access the ETF in, having that listing in place, covering the major markets, not having too many listings. There's various different options in terms of accumulating versus distributing, various different currency hedge versions. So the listings can really add up. So making sure that it's targeted, making sure that it marries up to your distribution strategy is key.
Yeah, and being conscious of costs, because
definitely.
The more listings you have, the more costs you incur. And you don't have to list in every country that you sell your fund in either, right? So you can passport, as you said, your funds into multiple markets, but you can have a more concentrated listing strategy that's more aligned to distribution and investor needs.
Absolutely.
Look, there you have it. Thank you very much, Henry. Great insights today. Where we see issuers fail most is where they don't appreciate the whole area of ETF capital markets. It's fundamental to the success of ETFs in Europe, particularly when you try to navigate the fragmentation. So hopefully you found these insights helpful. Thanks, Henry.
Thanks, Paul.